So welcome back to the kitchen of the Highway Groupie, where we're going to make a different version of our hypoglycemic ice cream. This version we're going to do a few things differently. It's going to be a little bit creamier than previous versions, and we're going to use a different blade. Previously we used a regular blender blade, but this time we're going to use what they call a milkshake blade. You can get these on eBay, and this is for the austerizer. But whatever blender you have, I'm sure that you can find an ice cream blade for that. It just makes making this milkshake or ice cream, whichever way you want to eat it, makes it easier to do. So that's one difference. We're going to use slightly different ingredients. Previously we used only one ripe platano. This time we're going to use 1.5. It's going to make it a little bit creamier. We're going to use a little bit more oil this time. And the other ingredients remain basically the same. So your platano should be, and I'm showing you this just to show you what the fruit kind of looks like. It should actually be darker than this. This is not yet soft. It's still fairly firm. You want it to be soft, and then you take this and you put it in your freezer. Once it's soft, peel it, put it in a plastic bag, a Ziploc bag, and stick it in your freezer. That's one thing. The other thing you have is the zapote. The zapote, this one is basically ready to open. It has give to it, not so give to it. And that's what you want. You want it to have give, but you don't want anything in the way of mold here. If there's mold here, then it's mold inside. Do not want that. So when you pick them at the store, make sure that they're soft, but not any mold showing anywhere on the zapote. So that when it's soft like that, it has a nice reddish color or deep orange meat inside of it, and it's very sweet, tastes like brown sugar, doesn't give you the hit of sugar because this takes longer to assimilate into your body. So that's with a zapote. We're going to be using that. I mentioned the oil. This is if you want coffee flavor. It actually gives you a chocolate flavor. This is chicory coffee made with barley and malted barley, chicory and rye. And so they're all roasted, and it gives you, when you mix it into a milkshake, it really gives it a nice deep chocolate flavor to it. If you don't like chocolate, you like vanilla, don't put it in. You can just add more vanilla. And of course vanilla you put in even whether you're making chocolate or not. And herba, our famous sea salt, that we put in a little bit. Yes, I know it's supposed to be sweet, but you do need the salt in there to help accentuate the sweetness. So those are our basic ingredients with the basic tools that we use to make our world famous ice cream. Is it really world famous? Yes, it is. We've had people come from all over the world, come and stay with us, try our ice cream, and they say, wow, this is fantastic. So it's known throughout the world. So let's get down to how we do the preparation. Okay, so we've got roughly a third of a cup of oil in the blender. And as you notice, I'm using recycled bulk barn containers here. But that's just to give you an idea how much we're going to put in. This is the zapote. This is basically what it looks like when it's ripe. And what we're going to do is we're going to take about a third of this container, and we're going to mix it into our drink. So let's see, taking about a third here. Put the other 2/3 back in there. Now in order for this to blend properly, we need to give it a little chop up here. So I'm going to chop it a few times lengthwise. You notice I use a sharp knife. It reduces the risk of cutting yourself because you don't have to push as hard. Okay. So that's basically the kind of pieces that you want to prepare for. Get them over there where you can see them. For putting into the blender. You can make them smaller if you like, but that's basically the size you need. Now I hope I did mention that this is frozen, so this should be frozen. And the way you prepare the platano is basically the same. Again, it's frozen, you put it in your freezer. And this is 1.5 platanos. So it's one of those full plus a half. That gives you about the quantity that you need to blend this. So again, freeze it, make sure it's good and frozen before you put it in. Okay, so if you're going to make the chocolate flavor, then you put in about 3 teaspoons. These are teaspoons, not tablespoons. It's about 3 teaspoons like so of Pero coffee. If you're making just plain vanilla, then you don't bother with this, but only put in your vanilla. And the vanilla also I put in 3. If I was making it just plain vanilla, I would put in 5. Okay, so we've shaken up our milk. Now, this is not pure oat milk. As I've showed you before, I like to make a blend. Oat milk, rice milk, and then whatever else you like. Now I've already put in some, so I'm just adding a little bit more here. About 3/4 to a cup, 3/4 of a cup to 1 full cup of milk or milk substitute. Okay, so that's what's going in this now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this up. Why we're going to wrap it up is that so when it blends, it doesn't lose too much of the cold temperature in there. You can pre-chill these jars too, that will help. But okay, so put the lid on this and let it rip high speed. Okay, so now we'll take off the protection here. You notice that unlike the previous ice cream, we did not have to stop it, stir it, muss around with it. This blade really does a great job in just mixing it. Once it's done, everything is good. So now we just take this and we pour it into our waiting glass, which I have pre-chilled. And there is a milkshake. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this back in the freezer, and for the next 30 minutes or so, just mix it once in a while and it'll make a beautiful soft ice cream. The rest of it, what are we going to do with it? What we're going to do with it is I'm going to put about 1 centimeter of this, maybe a little more than a centimeter, that's just about 1/2 inch I guess, into each of these containers, and then it makes a nice little ice cream. I'm going to freeze these. It'll make a lovely little ice cream, and then when I'm ready for some ice cream, all I do is take one of these out. Well, I'll show you in a minute. We've taken these small containers that you see here, and I've portioned out a little bit in each one. As we can see from this one here, we put in about 1 centimeter or about 1/2 inch, more or less, in the container. Now what we're going to do is, this is frozen as you can see, and we just take and work a little bit, and it drops out, and then we take a rice cake, try that again, a rice cake, and there we go. So this rice cake it's whole grain rice cake. You can get these from Quaker, you can get these from Diet. There are different companies that have these. But that's the kind of rice cake we use. I've got my world famous Highway Groupie nut butter on it. And then the nut butter sits between the ice cream and the wafer. It makes a lovely treat. Now my wife, she prefers just to take a spoon and eat it just like that, like an excellent ice cream. Whatever your choice is, enjoy. Hi. If you enjoyed what you saw in that video, then please click the subscribe button. over here. Yeah, that one. Click the subscribe button, please. And whenever I put a video up, you will find out about it. Please.